Hey everybody, happy Friday. Welcome back to the shit nobody tells you about pain. Today we are going to be talking about tension my myositis syndrome. It's a mouthful. It's often referred to as TMS or mind-body syndrome. If this is your first time joining me, hi, my name's Amy. I am an author and a chronic pain coach, and I love helping motivated people get back to lives they love through movement, education, and self-discovery. So if those are things that are of interest to you, you are in the right place. All right. In the world of chronic pain, there is a lot of talk about, oh, the pain's all in your head, pathologizing, meaning making mountains out of molehills, making pathologies out of things that are really just normal, common responses. And I like to debunk those things. So if you have heard of mind-body syndrome or TMS, and are curious about what it is, or maybe you're thinking about hiring someone that uses that methodology and you wanted more information, here is what I know. All right, so TMS is a diagnosis that isn't really a diagnosis, but it is a phrase coined by Dr. John Sarno. What his theory is that we have pain not because of injury, but because of repressed emotion, primarily rage, anxiety, past trauma, or fear. And that those emotions cause physical symptoms in order to distract you from these emotional experiences that you have had or are having. He believed that the nervous system would decrease blood flow to muscles, tendons, nerves, which results in oxygen deprivation, which then causes temporary microischemia, which means less blood flow, and more gunk builds up in your body, and then you have pain in that area. And he believes that the body does this so that the brain doesn't have to pay attention to the mental stress and issues that are happening. If a practitioner has ever said to you, your pain is in your head, they may be referring to this theory. I think this theory is not accurate. I think it's damaging. I think it is old. It's an old enough theory, because we're going to talk about its history in a little bit, but it was the beginning of what is now current pain science. But we know that pain is not repressed anger, emotion, and past trauma. We know those things affect our pain, but our pain isn't because of those things. And I get that seems like maybe nitpicking at words, but it's really important to understand the difference. TMS, tension myositis, which is inflammation of the muscle, syndrome, is saying that your emotions, your autonomic nervous system is creating your pain to distract from these emotions. That if you have listened to any of my videos or heard me speak live, that is never what I am saying. What I am saying is kind of the opposite. All of those emotions can affect our pain. They have an effect on our existence, our experience of pain, how we are feeling that day, but they do not create our pain. Okay? Those are very, very different things. So I think it's important to understand that if you want to head in the direction of mind-body treatment and TMS treatment, that you understand it is the belief that anxiety, rage, repressed emotion is the cause. That is the thing that is causing your pain, and you need to eliminate those things to get rid of your pain. So that is what the treatment will be focused on, okay? So Sarno believed that the purpose of this pain was to distract you from these emotions. And then if you deal with these emotions, then you won't have pain because there will be no reason for your body and your nervous system to create them. TMS could be considered a psychosomatic condition, and it has been referred to as a distraction pain syndrome. Okay. I get that the heart of this resonates with a lot of people. Emotional stress has tangible effects on our well-being, and the hypothesis that unresolved emotional distress can manifest as chronic physical pain aligns with our understanding of this mind-body connection. I get it, but I think once again, it takes chronic pain and it tries to make it this one thing. It overlooks the nuance of the individual experiencing pain, and that it's a million factors. It's never one. I have had hundreds of clients at this point from all around the globe. None of them have had a singular issue that they deal with and that gets rid of their pain. They have a life that they need to look at. There's lots of little things that they tweak and adjust, and that's when their pain starts to change. And I think it's really important that we stop this idea of looking for this one unifying factor for our chronic pain and realize that it's a variety of small little things. Right? Okay. So, is TMS valid or not? Science says that it stands on super shaky ground. When rigorously tested in scientific peer-reviewed studies, it doesn't really stand up. There's the results are very, very inconsistent, and some of the studies point to the link between emotional stress and physical symptoms, while others fail to establish a connection at all, which makes sense if you believe that pain is multifactorial and that everybody's different, right? Because there are going to be people who have emotional issues driving their pain more than others. And that's okay. So TMS and the way that recovery therapy works is going to work for some people, just like the things I do are going to work for some people, right? Just like physical therapy is going to work for some people. Who you are as an individual is really important into the way that you choose to regain your life from chronic pain. So understand that the studies are pretty poor. The studies themselves are poorly written, they're inconclusive, or they draw inferences from their data that really probably shouldn't be drawn. So, and that happens a lot in scientific studies, is the researchers are so invested in their outcome that they don't quite see the information the way somebody not as invested sees it, or they see flaws in the design study. So it's important to understand that. The reason I bother to speak out about TMS is because a lot of people ask me, hey, Amy, is your approach mind-body? And I feel like the sentence that I say at the start of every video, that I use self-discovery, education, and movement, that's what I use. I use all of it. I use physical therapy, I use exercise physiology, I use psychology, I use sociology, I use group therapy, if you will. I use my own history as somebody that experienced pain for 20 years, but I don't think that there is any one solution for any one person. I don't do diet stuff, but if we're talking and that seems to be an issue, I'll refer you out. I have no problem with that. And then we can work on the other stuff, right? If sleep is your main issue, I'm probably going to ask you to get a sleep study done to see if we can get you help there. We need the medical pieces, we need the psychological pieces, we need the sociological pieces, and more than anything, we need support. So, do I think TMS is a reasonable thing to invest your money in? Because this is something I get asked a lot. And you may or may not like my answer. If you believe that you have this syndrome and you believe that this avenue of treatment, a mind-body connection, focusing on your emotions to heal your pain, if you believe that that is the right way to address your specific pain, then yeah, it's probably a good idea. If you don't believe that, no, I would not. I wouldn't. I fear the allure of the way that they market themselves as a cure-all for pain. I have yet to find anybody that markets themselves as a cure-all for pain to actually do so for everyone that they see. That's why I don't do that. I tell you, I can help you get your life back. I can help you get back to living your life in a way that makes you happy and makes your pain less front and center. But I don't know if we can cure your pain. And the reality is nobody else does either. Next month, I think we're going to be talking about snake oil. And to me, TMS fits into the category of snake oil. They promise things that they cannot deliver on. And then the unfortunate thing about that is that it kind of perpetuates this cycle of hope and then despair. And each treatment brings the hope of relief and generally leaves you crestfallen and just completely bummed that it was ineffective. And it makes it harder and harder and harder to get up, like, and try again and try something else. And it depletes our finances. Every time we invest in something that doesn't help us, we're that many pennies shorter on what we have. And I understand, you know, here we're sitting here in 2024, money's tight for everybody. Money is tight for everybody. And it makes it really hard to decide what you're going to invest in. And I get that. So my suggestion to you is if you're seeing something that's promising you a cure-all for your chronic pain that you've had for, 2, 5, 7, 10, 20 years, it's probably too good to be true. And I want to re-emphasize this idea of the things that we tell ourselves about our pain. And this story, this narrative of, it's your unresolved anger, it's your unresolved fear, it's your unresolved trauma that is the creator of your pain. What happens when you go through the program and you deal with your trauma and you deal with your fear and you deal with all of those things and you're still left in pain? I feel like that leaves the onus on you, that you've done something wrong. Their program is fine. There's nothing wrong with their program, right? It's something you did wrong that you're still in pain. There's still something hiding that you haven't uncovered yet. And I think that that's unfair. I think that's really unfair to somebody living with chronic pain and chronic illness to say, well, you just didn't work hard enough to uncover, what's really making your autonomic nervous system create this pain. I think that's sad. And I think there's enough blame of the person in pain to go around, and we don't need another thing that does that. All right. So those are the things that I think are problematic about it. Where does TMS and Dr. Sarno and science agree? Well, I would say that the common ground lies in the fact that our mental state has a significant effect on our physical condition. We know that stress, anxiety, and other emotional factors can have a tangible impact on our bodily functions, from our immune system to muscle tension. Okay, are you ready for this big long word called psychoneuroimmunology, which is the emotional state of our nervous systems and our immune systems, right? So we know we are more prone to get sick when we're super stressed because our immune system isn't as strong, right? We know that psychological stressors lead to inflammation, and inflammation causes a host of ailments, right? So it's true that there is an interplay between the brain and emotions and pain. But saying that those emotions are the singular cause of your pain is really where this theory kind of goes and goes off the hill for me. Okay. So we know that strategies that are aimed at reducing stress, improving your emotional resilience, which is how you handle difficulties, have positive outcomes on physical symptoms. And that's from heart stuff to pain, right? Like, and everything in between. We know that the biopsychosocial model of health, meaning that biology, psychology, and sociology all affect the person experiencing the symptoms, that has become widely accepted. And I believe that Sarno had a role in that. He's got a piece of that. So this TMS isn't without positive outcomes. But you got to understand, this guy was in practice in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. I mean, this information is super old, like super old, right? And we've moved past it as a scientific community, but it's easy. It's easy to access. It's easy to promise things. It's a simplified way to look at chronic pain. And unfortunately, you know, that's not how this works. It's a lot easier to buy into that stuff because it is really hard to take a look at your diet and your health and your emotions and the way that you deal with people and the way that you look at your pain and how is your emotional resilience and are you nice to your stuff and what is your type A personality? Is that helping or hurting you? And are you pushing too hard or not enough? And let's look at pacing. And all of those things are hard to look at. But when we ignore those things and we focus in on just one thing, we fail to get out of pain. We fail to get our lives back. And I think it's great that a guy that was born in 1923 had this groundbreaking theory when he made it. But the man was born in 1923. That's like that's 101 years ago, guys. This theory is really old. And our chronic pain journey does not follow a straight line. It demands a multi-pronged strategy. And when we are determined to focus on the sole thing that's going to fix us, we're going to fail every time. Every single time. We have to chop it up into bites and take a look at all the little things. We've got to learn to reduce our stress, to deal with our emotions, to set boundaries, to stop people pleasing, to stop putting everybody else before ourselves. We've got to change the way that we interact with our bodies in regards to movement and exercise. We have to be more gentle. We have to start slower. We need to regain strength, flexibility, and endurance. And when we put all of those things together, we get a much better deal. That's what I offer you as a chronic pain coach. It's a comprehensive approach that includes your emotional well-being, but doesn't blame your emotional well-being on your pain and doesn't blame you if it takes a while. So there's everything you wanted to know about TMS. If you have questions, go ahead and toss them in the comments. And I would like to let you know that my birthday, this is my birthday week. I will be turning 50 next Wednesday. And because of my birthday, I am offering a breakthrough bundle to those of you that see this video or are on my mailing list. If you'd like to be on my mailing list, drop me a note in the comments and I can give you a link to sign up. But what it is you get 6 20-minute sessions with me over a 3-month period. You get to decide. Because I think one of the major failings of our medical system is that the provider decides how often you see us and we determine the flow of everything. Not so with the breakthrough bundle. It is 20 minutes of you getting to ask me questions, right? You are in charge of your journey with me during the Breakthrough Bundle. You have from August 1st to November 1st to use those 6 sessions to ask me any questions you wish. And if I do not have the answer during our session, I will find out and get back to you, because that's who I am as a coach. It's important to me that you get your questions answered. It's important to me that you're in the driver's seat of your recovery, right? So if you've thought about coaching but were afraid of the price tag, for $97, you get 6 20-minute sessions with me over a 3-month period, and I will leave the link for that in the notes below. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week when we talk about water therapy and why it may be useful to you. Have a great day.